President DeGioia, Provost Groves, faculty and leaders of the school, Dean Marilyn Jordan Taylor, our distinguished speaker, honored guests, members of the university, and most importantly, members of the graduating class, welcome to the 2013-2014 School of Continuing Studies Commencement Ceremony. To begin the ceremony today, I would like to ask that you all remain standing as we sing the national anthem is performed by members of our Georgetown University Concert Choir and chamber singers. Thank you, members of the brass ensemble, concert choir, and chamber singers. We now welcome Father Kevin O'Brien of the Society of Jesus to come to the podium and offer the invocation. Please remain standing.
Amid all the fitting praise and pride of accomplishment this day, we pause briefly at this moment of commencement to acknowledge that we do not achieve so much without much help and inspiration from family and friends and from our God. And so let us pray. Good and gracious God, author of all beginnings, we give you thanks for the gift of our education, the bold integration of learning, faith, and service. This gift we accept only now to return to you. So as we come to the end of our time here at Georgetown, we offer you all that we have and learned and all whom we have become. Pour out your Spirit on our sons and daughters of Georgetown, assembled here on this hilltop. Inspire them now to take flight, to be prophets with a holy boldness, to live and speak the truth, to be dreamers and visionaries who will help renew the face of the earth in your image. Call them to the adventurous pursuit of knowledge that makes learning a lifelong project. Lure them beyond narrow bounds of self-interest and empower them to create works of beauty, to labor for justice, and to reach out with compassion to the forgotten and the most vulnerable. May all of their talents, may all of their awesome gifts of mind and heart and spirit, may their boundless energy and imagination be offered to you, our Lord, and to our world for your greater glory and the good of others. Amen.
And now, please be seated. Our Provost, Dr. Robert Groves, will now share a few words with our graduating class.
Thank you, Dean Rankin. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you here today in this glorious sunshine. our graduates and guests to this commencement ceremony for the School for Continuing Studies. As Provost, one of my titles is Chief Academic Officer, and that means that my job is to support and lead the faculty and attempt to provide students the best education we can. So it's a great opportunity for me to be here to help celebrate the research and academic accomplishments of the graduates in front of me, but also to do it with friends and family seated behind them. And then behind me to see the wonderful faculty of the School of Continuing Studies. It is actually this collection of three different groups of people that make the university work. We do it together, and when we do it well, we produce wonderful outcomes. I want to thank all the students and faculty for coming and finishing a year of great success. It's great to see these graduates here in their heat-absorbing black robes and with many fans going. This is a day of great joy. May God bless you all on this glorious day. It is filled with nostalgia, thinking back, but also wonderful hope and expectations about the future, and we're so happy to see you all here.
And now the university charter will be read by Edward Quinn, Secretary of the University.
An act concerning the College of Georgetown within the District of Columbia. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, that it shall and may be lawful for such persons as now are, or from time to time may be, the President and Directors of the College of Georgetown within the District of Columbia, to admit any of the students belonging to said college or other persons meriting academical honors to any degree in the faculties, arts, sciences, and liberal professions to which persons are usually admitted in other colleges and universities of the United States, and to issue in an appropriate form the diplomas or certificates which may be requisite to testify to the admission of such degree. Signed, Langdon Shivas, Speaker of the House of Representatives, John Gaillard, President pro tempore of the Senate. Approved March 1st, 1815, James Madison.
We are honored to have as our special guest this afternoon, Dean Marilyn Jordan Taylor. She will be presented with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. The citation for Dean Taylor will be read by Uwe Brandes, the Executive Director of our Master of Professional Studies and Urban and Regional Planning program.
Good afternoon. Georgetown's history has been entwined with the history of the city of Washington for over 225 years. It therefore gives me great pleasure today in celebrating a distinguished urbanist, a person of many talents, a person of many professional roles, award-winning architect, urban planner, corporate chairman, nonprofit chairman, fellow, professor, and dean, who through her proactive engagement has shaped the development of cities around the world, including our very own city, Washington. Marilyn Jordan Taylor was awarded a bachelor's in government from Radcliffe College. She attended the MIT Graduate School of Architecture before receiving her master's in architecture from the University of California at Berkeley. For decades, she was partner in charge of urban design and planning at the world-renowned architecture firm of Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill. Today, she serves as dean of the School of Design at the University of Pennsylvania. Throughout her career, she's always been attracted to complex civic challenges in our cities, seeking to find new solutions and new opportunities for communities to grow. As such, her career milestones are distinguished by being a first woman partner to serve as corporate chairman of Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill, first woman and first architect to serve as global chairman of the Urban Land Institute, a fellow of the American Institute of Architects, and the list goes on and on. Her projects have included the epic urban design plans in New York City, like Columbia University's Manhattanville Master Plan, the East River Waterfront Master Plan, the new urban campus for John Jay College. An international expert in transportation planning, she has planned the expansion of Dulles Airport and airports at JFK Airport, in Hong Kong, in Tel Aviv, in Singapore, and on. Her intercity rail projects include the original planning for all 15 intercity Amtrak rail stations, which today make up the Northeast Corridor. And most recently, she has helped conceptualize the design to repurpose New York's Farley Post Office as the Moynihan Station, a transformation of great cultural and aesthetic significance to New York City, which today is still seeking to recover from the lost legacy of the demolished Pennsylvania station over 50 years ago. In 2008, she was appointed Dean of the School of Design at the University of Pennsylvania. At Penn, she's emphasized the crucial need to integrate research and practice in responding to the opportunities and challenges of the built environment for the 21st century. She has pressed for an interdisciplinary alliance on urbanism, linking urban planning, landscape architecture, urban design, and infrastructure planning to both strengthen and rebuild communities. In 1782, upon visiting Monticello, the French Marquis de Châtelet wrote that Mr. Jefferson is the first American to consult the fine arts to know how he should shelter himself from the weather. The first, but not the last. Through her long and distinguished career, Dean Taylor, in an exemplary way, has reinvented that Jeffersonian precedent, showing how urban communities can grow in a truly sustainable way through advances in both economy and culture. And therefore, because of what she has built, and because what she has taught and inspired others to build, Georgetown University, with pleasure and esteem today, proclaims Marilyn Jordan Taylor, Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Congress of the United States and by the Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I officially confer upon Dean Marilyn Jordan Taylor the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. It is my pleasure to present to you Dean Marilyn Jordan Taylor, who will give the commencement address.
Well, fortunately, ladies and gentlemen and graduates, I don't have time to tell you my life story. I'm so glad that Uwe did that for me. Thank you, Dr. DeGioia. It's a great privilege to receive this degree from you. Thank you very much. As a child, I visited Washington often. In those days, decades ago now, when one entered the city across Key Bridge, the image of Georgetown University was distinctive, its eminence declared and clear to be seen. It was the education city on the hill, a revered, distant place, a renowned source of knowledge, diplomacy, and higher education. Now, well into the 21st century, Georgetown's reach and reputation have grown. Georgetown's presence and influence is palpable and visible in downtown Washington, now a real city, thanks in no small measure to your being there, no longer just the federal city. By embedding yourselves in the everyday city and extending its reach far beyond the Beltway, Georgetown University and the School of Continuing Studies signal a shift toward the kind of education, the kind of collective intelligence and informed engagement that I would like to talk about with all of you today. To each of you, I want to express how much I feel honored to be included with you on this great day of celebrating your accomplishments and your futures. Thank you, Uwe Brandes, dear friend and colleague. Uwe, you and I share a passion for cities, a passion that grows from an understanding of the opportunities cities offer for life, for cultivating curiosity, for participating, for engaging, for attaining resilience and sustainability, not just for oneself, not just for seeking and finding your fortune, but for all. I didn't start thinking about cities until my first trip to Washington when I was 10. But when I came, I fell in love. And although my parents and my grandparents, I'm sure you felt these pressures, tried for a time to divert me into law or even politics, it was the city itself that became my subject. While my junior high school friends spent Saturdays shopping at Seven Corners Mall, I rode the AB&W bus into the district, as we called it, to wander around the monuments and read their quotations, to gawk at the massive federal office buildings, to explore the then degenerating and yet intriguing downtown, and I fell more deeply in love. As I describe my first city and how it compelled me to explore other cities, I hope you will think about yours, the city you came from, and the ones you will inhabit, and I hope make better whatever field or position you occupy. Think about how your city shapes you and about how you will shape it. I hope to challenge you to understand that it will be your opportunity and your responsibility to make your city more resilient, more vital, more equitable. My first design assignment when I returned to Washington as an architect was to remove the cars from the mall. Yes, that was my job. Now called the National Mall, and to make it a better place for gathering by groups, not cars, groups of people, both large and small. Later, my assignment was to reclaim the wonderful Burnham-designed Union Station and make it a splendid train station again, one that has become a destination and the catalyst of an exciting, re-emerging neighborhood. Working here, I learned from Nathaniel Owings and from the great Daniel Patrick Moynihan a lesson I would like to share. I bet you know it already. It is the spaces between the buildings, rather than the buildings themselves, that matter. That it is the people who come and go in what urban visionary Jane Jacobs called the ballet of the sidewalk. It's the people who make a street, a park, a city great. When I look ahead after practicing urban design for some 33 years, I see cities as not places to be feared, but as territories of enormous potential. In response to marketplace necessities and individual self-interests, cities are swelling, bursting their boundaries with migration, immigration, and particularly in less developed areas with very large new generations. This is more than a local phenomenon. It is creating an intricate network of markets and information exchange, of difference and connection. The quantity and speed of change are difficult to grasp, but data collection, research, and sophisticated mapping techniques are making urbanization and globalization more graspable. Demographers and sociologists are expanding, analyzing, and recompiling our understanding of urban people as important determinants, not just inhabitants, of the urban future. Capital is whizzing around the globe, rewarding market transparency and risk-taking. Whether you know it or not, and I expect you do, all these changes will dramatically affect the way you run your business, advise your clients, and most of all, create value for yourselves and for others. 21st century urbanization is different than its predecessors. Thanks to new strategies in communication people out here, new opportunities based on technology management, technology folks out here, it is simultaneously global and yet extraordinarily geographically specific. On continents where industrial economies developed in the 19th century, urbanization is not new. There, the population living in urban areas exceeded 75% a long time ago. North America and Latin America are only slightly less urbanized. Some of our older cities are succeeding in the new geoeconomy. As you know, others are not. Cities are not permanent. They have to be constantly built. Asia and Africa are undergoing their own rural to urban shifts at numbers and rates not previously experienced, as the world in total acquires the equivalent of a new city of 1 million residents every week. I think that's 1.2 Washingtons every week. Oil-rich Middle East countries are creating virtually instantaneous city-scale developments. For everyone, those that are growing, those that are shrinking, the emerging urban patterns are incredible opportunities. Education, jobs, health, consumer status, and social mobility are becoming universal objectives increasingly within reach for stunningly large numbers of urban dwellers, but not yet for everyone. We, you, need to bring together the abilities required to move the powerful forces of urbanization toward human scale, resilience, competitive advantage, and distinctive identity. Success in our endeavors increasingly depends on the recognition that the essence of designing for an urban world is collaboration, a close intellectual and working partnership with those who embody local knowledge and with those who have access to essential resources, with you. Chief among those with whom collaboration is essential are the inventors, more technology guys, the entrepreneurs, okay, real estate, yeah, go for it. The entrepreneurs, the private sector parties, and the public-private partnerships that wield the sources of capital and offer the daring and the will to invest and to succeed in the economies on which cities depend. That's you. Elected officials and community representatives need to hear from and rely on growing constituencies who seek to support a longer-term view, one that extends beyond current terms of office. That's you. It's time for a great change for ourselves, for our cities. How will you participate? I see cities needing leaders who will engage these issues at all scales of decision-making, in all the fields you represent: journalism, public relations and communications, human resources management, emergency and disaster management, a coming critical field, real estate, in sports industry management. You guys are everywhere. Technology management. Your city, your community needs you. Wherever the decision is, it's not the White House or just the mayor's office or just the chambers of commerce or at NPR or anywhere in a global company, a startup, at your school board, your development company, your community development corporation. Cities grow and thrive when you as individual leaders take on the responsibility to act collectively with those around you. As leaders in your field and in your lives, you're undertaking a journey that will be of meaning because it is fulfilling to you, helpful to others, and inspiring to those around you. But to do so, we need to frame the choices we face and the debates among those choices differently. What you can bring to your city, to your life, is a commitment to collective intelligence. In today's world, decisions must be made under pressure from multiple and conflicting interests over issues that represent an uncertain mix of the familiar and the unfamiliar. Designers have long known that we can unlock problems by turning to someone who thinks about such problems differently than we do. When we engage with each other across the differences, when we invite people to the discussion table, physically or electronically, we find the hidden doors, the unlikely intersection of ideas, the keys to new approaches. And we can make changes to the ways in which we think, build resilience, and occupy. Here are 3 changes I hope you will embrace. First, we need to shift from comfort in the familiar and confidence in what we know because of the time-proven approach to an inclination to watch for and try fresh, inventive ideas and to take calculated risks to do better. We're in the age of the entrepreneur, whether it's a business idea, funding strategy, or a way of thinking, that age is yours. You need these new ideas if you and we are to overcome the problems that have become so intractable. Second, consider a shift from being a consuming economy, to a mindset of investing. Investing in our children, investing in our dreams, investing in education, investing in the risk, all in support of thinking for the longer term. The emergence of a focus on the longer term will change the way we burn fuel, the fuel we burn, how we live with water, how we live with the absence of water, the way we build, the way we interact, the way we live together longer and better. And third, this one might be more challenging, but it's being commonly said. How about shifting from being online to being engaged? The internet allows us virtually instantaneous access to any and all information. Social media allow us to remain constantly in contact if we want to. They even allow us to engage in this new topic, hashtag activism. I urge you to retain and extend your commitment to active personal engagement in your work, in your relationships, and in pursuing your future. Collective intelligence can become collective commitment to informed risk-taking, long-term investing, and genuine, generous engagement in our collective lives. Pericles, the early Athenian, wrote something resonant with me as an architect. He said, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." With today's technology, you not only have better levers, you also have many more fulcra, more opportunities to succeed. But also remember his advice, close to his admonition, that when what you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Appreciate each other, seek other voices, believe in collective intelligence, and you will move the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dean Taylor, for those inspiring and thoughtful words. We will now have the presentation of the candidates for the degrees in course. We will begin with our Doctor of Liberal Studies. We will then go to the Master of Liberal Studies, then the Master of Professional Studies together, and then we'll conclude with the Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Studies. And now, we will have the presentation of the candidates for Doctor of Liberal Studies. I invite Dr. Frank Ambrosio, our Director for the Doctor of Liberal Studies, to the podium.
President DeGioia, Dean Rankin, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Liberal Studies. Candidates, you have already risen and have moved forward. Please approach the stage on the ramp to my right and exit to my left. As you cross the stage, you will be congratulated by President DeGioia and Dean Rankin and hooded by members of the SCS faculty. I ask that the audience hold their applause until all candidates have crossed the stage.
Daphne Palmer Giannakopoulos. Pamela Carter Birkin. Joyce Ann Lucier. Jacqueline Herrera Wilson.
Doctor of Liberal Studies candidates, please rise. President DeGioia, these students have been duly examined, recommended by the faculty, and approved by the Board of Directors. I therefore ask that you bestow upon them the degree in course.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Congress of the United States and by the Board of Directors of Georgetown, I officially confer upon these candidates the degree of Doctor of Liberal Studies. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. We will now present the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies. President DeGioia, Dean Rankin, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies.
Jill Marie Daugherty. Joel Bergsman. Shannon Butler Adler. Catherine Elaine Altom. Carolyn Riker Budenhagen. Carly Ann Christensen. Mary C. Dixon. Spencer Nathan Dobkin. Sean F. Doherty. Lisa A. Drumheller Phillips. Christopher Allen Dunn. Shams Eden. Hida Fuladvand. Caroline Hearn Fuchs. Roger Lewis Garfield. Caitlin Mathias Garman. Angelina Heather Gordon. Adam Scott Green. Zulfi Hadi. Derek Hamel. Mohaimina Hawk. Thomas Joseph Hendershot Jr. Suzanne G. Hollins. Layla Ivankovich. Tracy Lee Jackson.
Thank you very much.
Vera George Jurgensen.
Congratulations.
Anna Kadalkina. Kenya Annette Kirkland. Linda C. Cookral. Martha E. Yarena. Catherine Janet Lujan. Christopher M. McKnight. Jessica Jacqueline Membreno. Denise L. Nanichka. Diane Ney. Ariel Nielsen. Lavinia Okia. Amara Chukwu Okorafor. Michael Ellis Patterson. Happiness Ann Peterson. Jeffrey J. Reardon. Lakea Michelle Renfro. Marilyn Annette Rios. Tamitha T. Robinson. Lisa Elizabeth Rowan. Veronica Scafaro Maddox. Thomas Matthew Shea. Alexandra Elizabeth Smith. William Hartnett Smith. Jennifer Lee Taylor. Safani Israel Tekle. Kelly Ann Troxel. Elisha Raylene Tucker. Jennifer Michelle Vong. Eleanor Elizabeth Weiss. Kevin Michael Windals. Megan Marie Zajac.
Go ahead and read it now. Candidates, please rise. President DeGioia. These students, and a few over there, have been duly examined, recommended by the faculty, and approved by the Board of Directors. I therefore ask that you bestow upon them the degree in course.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Congress of the United States and by the Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I officially confer upon these candidates the degree of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies. Congratulations.
Candidates, please be seated. Senior Associate Dean Denise Keys will now present the candidates for the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Journalism and the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Public Relations and Corporate Communications.
President DeGioia, Dean Rankin, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Journalism. After presenting these candidates, we will present candidates for each of the Masters of Professional Studies degrees. President DeGioia will confer all of the Masters of Professional Study degrees together, following the presentation of candidates for the Emergency and Disaster Management.
Capricia Alston. Christopher Sims Amos. Congratulations. Valerie Ann Bonk. Congratulations. Allison Brennan. Donna Tiara Broadway. Julie Grace Brufke. Christina Cauterucci. Chelsea Paige Coley. Mark Denon. Palmer Gibbs. Melissa Makaya. Evan Milberg. Daniel Miller. Mary Morgan. Desiree Moses. Ivan Natividad. Stephanie Rodriguez Melson. Pamela Seaton. Robert Snyder.
Please be seated. President DeGioia, Dean Rankin, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Public Relations and Corporate Communications.
Matthew Adler. Anya Alexander. Jacqueline Bavaro. Sunset Belinsky. Jennifer Bocanegra. Sarah Boyson. Lisa Borges. Congratulations. James Brindle. Julia Burgos. Leslie Ann Carlson. Brittany Nicole Carolina. David Michael Castaigne II. Alexandra Marie Chagoris. Joanna Chow. Congratulations. Congratulations. Brooke Cockrell. Congratulations. Margaret Kathleen Cohen. Hillary Connolly. Congratulations. Lauren Cox. Travis Detmer. Danielle Duff. Angela Eady. Edmonds. Lisa Marie Sarof Edmonds. Asad Farouk. Congratulations. Candace Farrell. Jill Fisher. Anait Freeman. Congratulations. Congratulations. Sandra Fuentes. Fuller. Mary Christina Fuller. Andrean Renee Garner. Crystal George Muscles Gaddis. Luis Gonzalez. Congratulations. Kiera Green. Austin Igus Hansen. Tierra C. Harris. Alina Batul Hasni. Jane Hoffman.
Congratulations.
Monica Lee Holb.
Congratulations.
Maria Joy Holsopple. Beth Jarvis. Sheridan Jones McCrae. Sarah Righteous Kelly.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Justin Kirkland.
Congratulations.
Casey Valerie Lindsay. Nalina Elise Loazel. Allison Liu.
Congratulations.
Beth Ludwig. Matthew McRoberts. Marisa Martin. Cara Martinez. Brittany McRae.
McGarrett.
Lindsay Curran McGarity.
Congratulations.
Alexandra Medrano.
Congratulations.
Megan Mendelson.
Congratulations.
Swati Mishra.
Congratulations.
Emily Morin.
Congratulations.
Crystal Lynette Myers. Amanda Beth Nayrod.
Congratulations.
Mina Kathleen Nayas. Layla Ethiopia Nielsen. Oyende Onijala Misiu. Brian K. Parker.
Congratulations.
Bethany Petit. Rocio Quesada. Nicole Todd Randall.
Congratulations.
Shannon Marie Redbird.
Congratulations.
Becky Reeves.
Congratulations.
Cassidy Ricaldi. Michelle Ann Rivera. Olayinka Yvette Robinson. Kimberly Rogers Moon. Pablo Rolando. Laura Salmon. Natasha Sam. Beth Schoenbach. Mary Schaefer.
Congratulations.
Joseph Schaffner.
Congratulations.
Pooja D. Shah. Kelly Shaw. Ashley Sims. Margaret Augusta Skinner. Amber Smith. Kathleen Smith. Alicia Nicole Stewart. Sue-Ann Tanis. Marika Taylor. Lee Towns. Shada Vaez Zada. Congratulations. Anthony Vishati. Yunming Wang. Rebecca Wardwell. Catherine Weckerman. Mark Winchester.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Interim Associate Dean Robert Goldwater will now present the candidates for the degree of the Master of Professional Studies in Sports Industry Management.
President DeGioia, Dean Rankin, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Sports Industry Management.
You're looking Alexander Adkins. Nasir Ahmed. Jason Eisenman. Jasmine Fralish Allen. Lindsay Arnold. Devon Blackshear. Christopher Brown. Richard Birchfield, Jr. Ulyssa Burns. Alejandro Canelon. Brandon Carter. Greg Cohen. Jonathan Cooks. Vasily Kramanzidis. Chris DePalma. Kimberly Doyle. Christopher Yushraf Eldab. Charles Feinerman. Zachary Ethan Firestone. Patricia Frontanis. Matthew Allen Golden. Dina Halassa. Morgan Hamlin. Edward Joseph Hernan. Samuel Mark Hilder. Trevin Jaggers. Shayla Daniel Jones. Tanner Ross Jones. Tiffany Kelly. Alexander Kerman. Brian Kiefer. Emily King. Ross Kipp. Langlois. Stephen Paul Langlois. Kristen Renee Lawson. Alexandra Allie Lippincott. Tim Lotzos. Elliot Germain Mack. Daniel James Marsh. Grace Elizabeth Mayshore. Kristen Danielle Mason. Naomi Myberger. Danielle Morad. Michael Nasser. Nettleman. Melissa Ann Nettleman. Kelly Ann O'Donnell. Opatet. Jenna Blair Felicia Opatet. Maria Beatriz Osorio. Garrett Osuma. Renee Panebianco. Corey Matthews Parker. Edward Polonio. David Paleo. Brandon Riley Putnam. Madura Raganathan. Ashley Ricks. Jordan Ruby. Brett Samuel Schuster. Miguel Sequeira. Brian Alexander Simmons. Prabhat Sinha. Wade Smith. David Sowers. Kayla Springer. Shayla Swanson. Rodney Thomas. Jashelle Velez. Jashelle Velez. Mike Wall. Catherine Winsill. Robert DeAndre Wingate Robinson.
Please be seated. Executive Director William Hudnut will now present the candidates for the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Real Estate.
President DeGioia, Dean Rankin, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Real Estate.
Simon M. Aftalian. Catherine Joyce Anderson.
How you doing? Good. Congratulations.
Rory Levon Bailey. Cody Brandt. Julian Chambers. Amrit Chase. Claudia C. Rojas. Jonathan Brett DeHart. Emmanuel Igomwa. Andrew Genova. William Greenberg. Stephen Gregg. Bora Hamanjolu. Elizabeth Hamlin. Alexandra Harry. John Hess. Moatez Carrara. Ashley Clearman. Brian Lessons. Paula Majorano. Fiza Malik. Matthew Manders. Christopher Martin. James Richards Minkler. Olushola Faludun. April Moreland. Mohamed Mosley. Andrea Murray. Gus Nikase. Mark Lloyd Posey. Michael Roberts. Alexandra Rogers. Khalees Scott. Marianne Schuyler. Bradley Thompson. Blake Thompson. Robert Thorson. Lawrence Terrell Washington, Jr. Nathaniel White. Jim. Jim.
Oops. Please be seated. Dr. Christopher Metzler, Senior Associate Dean, will now present the candidates for the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Human Resources Management.
President DeGioia, Dean Rankin, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Human Resources Management.
Maria Ahmad. Nashe Alexander. Aaron Anker. Melissa Ashby. Yanina Bierman. Antonia Blair. Kimberly Brown. Paulisa Mosley. Megan Cowman. Amanda Gankeko. Herman Gomez. Megan Graves. Katie Hall. Michelle Hamilton. Brittany Janae Harris. London Henderson. Valerie Annette Hernandez. Tara Jameson. Aaron Johnson. Prabjot Kaur. Christine P. Kelly. Lavleen Condell. Maria Navarro. Marjan Nazarova. Amber Pappas. Amanda L. Pendleton. Congratulations. Catherine Joan Quinn. Jeanette Andrea Ramirez. Nicole Rapley. Diana Saylor. Melissa Twining. Congratulations. Janelle Vinord. Emily Holland White. Sean Rice Leonard.
Please be seated. Dr. Beverly Magda, Associate Dean, will now present the candidates for the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Technology Management.
President DeGioia, Dean Rankin, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Technology Management.
Mohammed Al-Assad. Michelle Bennett. Danny Brothers. Carolina Elizabeth Buckler. Ashley Cornelius. Antoine Coward. Blair Crowley. Stephen Daniels. Linford Aaron Darlington III. Ibrahima Diallo. Sergio Flores.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Bryant Gautier. Matthew Gonter. Eric Heath. Sunitru Johnson. Kathleen Julian. Christine Lai. Right there, buddy. Aaron Landers. Anna Nelson. Ezra Esman. Paul Chiofrey. Ted O'Keefe. Eileen Perez. Richard Poplowski. Emrit Paul Rye. Beautiful. Terrence Robinson. Vanessa Schmidt. Brett Schneider. Matthew Elliott Stanback. Dine Sung. Groom Guadutesama. Angela Valetis. Jasmine Vichai Lakana. Daniel Wilcock. Lisa Wiswell.
Hi, Jack.
Wintana Yamani. Vista Banu Noresian.
How you doing? Congratulations.
Are you guys EDM? Wow, you finished quick. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Executive Director Nancy Susky will now present the candidates for the degree of Executive Master of Professional Studies in Emergency and Disaster Management.
President DeGioia, Dean Rankin, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Executive Master of Professional Studies in Emergency and Disaster Management.
Latasha Anasa Allen. Chad Ellis Carnegie. Ellen Maya Ellis.
Pretty good. How are you, sir?
Aristides Montalvo Jr.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
And now, will all the candidates for the Master of Professional Studies degrees please rise together? President DeGioia, these candidates have been duly examined, recommended by the faculty, and approved by the Board of Directors. I therefore ask that you bestow on them the degree and course.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Congress of the United States and by the Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I officially confer upon these candidates the degree of Master of Professional Studies in Journalism, Public Relations and Corporate Communications, Sports Industry Management, Real Estate, Human Resources Management, Technology Management, and Emergency and Disaster Management. Congratulations, graduates.
And graduates, please be seated. And now I invite Dr. Vince Kiernan, Associate Dean of the Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Studies program, to the podium.
President DeGioia, saving the very best till last, I have the honor to present to you the following outstanding candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Studies.
Julie Cheston Duke. Victor Santos Cuco. Hasib Al-Khuzai. Omar Chacon. Jonathan Brett Cummings. Jonathan Ryan Davis. Jocelyn Ann Davison. Aaron Ellis. Aisha Fleming. Marcus Frazier. Katie Golden. Antonio Gonzalez. Andrew Hoffman. Rakan Zan Iqbal. Erica Jackson. Johnny Joseph Joey Jones. Stuart Karp. Jesse Langley. Alec Mackay. Gloria Ornelas Loza. Andrew Poliakoff. Michael Saleh. Mark Santos. Courtney Stecker. Timothy Stockdale. Timothy Martin Sullivan.
Thank you, sir. How you doing? Congratulations.
Caitlin Taylor.
Congratulations.
Josh Tui. Elena von Sternberg. Alex Whitmer. Emily Brooke Wolf. Maria Mayorga.
Congratulations. You're very best.
Baccalaureate graduates, please rise. President DeGioia, these students have been duly examined, recommended by the faculty, and approved by the Board of Directors. I therefore ask that you bestow on them the degree and course.
Okay. We'll do this one more time. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Congress of the United States and by the Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I officially confer upon these candidates the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Studies. Congratulations.
And graduates, you may be seated. And now I invite the faculty, family, and friends of the graduates to join me in congratulating all of these graduates on their achievements. And graduates, would you please join me in one round of applause to thank all of your friends, family, friends, teachers, and staff for their support. And now it is my sincere pleasure to invite President DeGioia back to the podium to offer closing reflections.
Well, it's truly my pleasure to be here with you today at this moment, in this time of your lives, at this university. And I wish to begin in gratitude. First, to our distinguished guest, our speaker and honorary degree recipient, Marilyn Jordan Taylor. I want to thank you for sharing your witness and wisdom at our ceremony today and for enriching this moment of reflection and celebration for our graduates with your words. Thank you so much. To Dean Rankin, I want to thank you for your dedicated leadership at our School of Continuing Studies, for the countless ways you've helped to shape these past years for the women and men before us. Thank you to our faculty for your tireless mentorship, time in the classroom, pursuit of your profession at the highest levels. Your gifts shared with our graduating class are profound. And to the countless other individuals without whose support and guidance our graduates would not be here today, we're deeply grateful for your generosity and the role you've played in making our graduates' dream a reality. And this brings me to each of you, the extraordinary women and men whose talents, perseverance, and achievements we recognize and honor today. At this moment of commencement, we look to the dedication that you've displayed to deepen your knowledge and understanding of your chosen field and to bring that knowledge and understanding out into the world, to realize your dreams and to prepare yourselves for the impact that only you can make. While we celebrate your accomplishments at this moment, we also celebrate your promise. We celebrate your talent and your character that you now bring out into the world. Commencements are sacred moments. In these moments, we celebrate gifts. The gift of each of you, your shared gifts of friendship, of inspiration, of hard work and love. The gift of this moment in your lives when you were able to devote yourselves to your course of studies, to develop your skills and knowledge in this chosen field alongside some of its most accomplished scholars and practitioners, and together with some of the most thoughtful and talented peers. In pursuing your degree, you have chosen to cultivate certain gifts, certain skills and passions and dispositions. Through your studies, you bring them to bear now in your professions. This is the talent and character that I mentioned just a moment ago, which we celebrate today. Arriving at this place in which your gifts have been identified and developed required you to explore your own interior freedom, to earn the self-knowledge that is essential to recognizing gifts in both ourselves and in others, in our peers, our mentors, and those we serve. This exploration is a defining characteristic of the context we seek to create for you here at Georgetown. But the journey does not end here. Inherent in this authentic and deeply meaningful recognition of your own gifts and those gifts that you appreciate in others is a responsibility. A responsibility to bring your personal gifts to bear on the world in a way that serves and enriches it, and also to embrace and support the gifts of others. The cultivation of this sensibility and awareness is one of the defining roles of our university, and it's one that we hope will become a touchstone for you, a way of being and engaging in the world that will help you to continue to find meaning and authenticity as you embark on your lives beyond Georgetown. This is the beginning, the commencement we celebrate today. This is the moment when we confirm that your talents, your gifts, your deepest motivations are now, in the words of Lewis Hyde, ready to be set free in the world. We could not be prouder of you at this moment, and we could not hold greater anticipation and trust in all you will bring to your careers and to our societies beyond Healy Gates. And it is an honor for all of us to be here with you today. Please know that Georgetown will forever be a home to you, and that you have our very best wishes as you commence on this very special day. Congratulations.
Graduates, today you have joined the community of women and men of Georgetown University, whose blue and gray colors adorn your hoods and gowns. Georgetown's colors, adopted in the aftermath of the Civil War, symbolize this community's commitment, then and now, to healing, reconciliation, inclusion, and hope. And they figure prominently in Georgetown's alma mater, which I will ask you to rise and join us in singing. You have that on your scrolls, by the way, so hidden little secret. The alma mater will be led by the Georgetown University Concert Choir and Chamber Singers under the direction of Professor Frederick Binkholder. The lyrics and music are also printed on the back of the commencement program book for our guests. Please remain standing for the benediction.
Good and gracious God, we thank you for the blessings of this beautiful day, for the sun you have given us after the clouds have parted. We thank you for our newest alumni and their family and friends who made this day possible, for our faculty and staff and benefactors. We thank you for the gift of our education, a Georgetown education in the best of the Jesuit tradition. In that tradition, we now offer to you this great gift in the service of others, to help this world to be a more just, a more gentle, a more thoughtful, a more beautiful, and a more peaceful place. We ask you to help orientate all of our actions by your divine inspiration, and carry them on by your gracious assistance, that every prayer and every work of ours may always begin from you and through you be happily ended. Amen.
Thank you, Father O'Brien. During the recessional, the platform party will exit first, followed by our graduates. I ask that our guests remain standing by their seats and not enter the aisle until those on the stage and all of our graduates have departed. The ushers will then invite you to depart. Graduating students will continue in line, exiting from the back row first, and the recessional, and go directly to Leo J. O'Donovan Hall, where they will await your congratulations. You are all invited to join us at the reception in honor of our graduates. The 2013-2014 commencement exercises for the Georgetown University School of Continuing Studies are officially closed, and you are now and forever Hoyas.